It's a little bit of Americana. The Boardwalk at Atlantic City, New Jersey, where Broadway, Park Place, and Illinois Avenue are more than just names on a game board. It's a city in a renaissance, and tonight it plays host to another big event. We are at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, hosted by Caesars Atlantic City. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. It's a pleasure once more to be reunited with my old partner, Al Bernstein. And Al, the WBO Heavyweight Championship on the line tonight. The holder is Shannon Briggs, the challenger, Sultan Ibragimov. These kinds of fights are always statement fights, I think, for the challenger, and certainly it is that for Sultan tonight. But I think the same could be said about the holder, Shannon Briggs.
Absolutely. You know, for Ibragimov, it's obvious he wants to win a world title. This is probably his first moment really at center stage in the heavyweight division. But for Shannon Briggs, who won this title with a last-minute win over Sergey Lahovich, literally, maybe he still has something to prove as well in terms of holding this crown.
You know, you can make an argument for the fact that there's a lot of heavyweights out there that kind of cookie cutter, just same molds of one another. That cannot be said about Ibragimov.
He is anything but. Not only is he is a left-hander, also he is one of the most quick-handed heavyweights we have out there, and he's a lot of fun to watch. He throws a lot of punches. He's very active, and that sets him apart from most heavyweights.
And Sultan Ibragimov, needless to say, has come a long way for this fight, and he has been waiting for this day for a long time.
I had long way for coming for the championship fight. I'm so happy coming for championship fight. This is my chance. I will take my chance.
Sultan, he gave up probably about 50 or 60 pounds to a great puncher, to experienced champion like Shannon Briggs. That everyone say that he cannot go the distance, but he can knock out on the 12th round and come to be a champion.
All right, now let's talk about the champion, Shannon Briggs. This is a guy, quite honestly, that I have always felt could be just about as good as he chooses to be.
Yeah, and I think the world is maybe waiting for the definitive Shannon Briggs fight, which is pretty amazing considering how long he's been fighting. You know, his biggest signature win was against George Foreman, a fight that many people think could have gone the other way. And so I think Shannon Briggs really needs to show the people what he's all about. And as you point out, whether it's conditioning or focus on a fight, it's pretty much up to him.
I think Ibragimov feels he's got to take him into the later rounds tonight to really have a legitimate chance to win this fight. He doesn't think he's going to get him out early, and there's good reason for that thought, because Shannon Briggs, other than the last fight, which he was losing up until the last 15-20 seconds, he has not won a fight that's gone more than 7 rounds since 1997.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, his comments, you know, he feels that power is his ticket to win this fight. And for Ibragimov, the fact of the matter is he wants him to go into the 8th, 9th, 10th rounds and see what Shannon Briggs has to offer. Briggs has an asthma situation that disturbs him greatly in terms of those later rounds. And so there is a very big question in those later rounds. And Ibragimov just has to get through the power onslaught in the first 3 or 4 rounds.
And he's not going to need anything to get him angry tonight. Not that every fighter likes to fight angry, but Shannon Briggs does. He's already got a little ticked off because of the simple fact that his former trainer, Jeff Mayweather, is in the corner tonight of Ibragimov.
He held the pads for me. He know what time it is as far as my power. So what are you going to tell him? That he can punch? He's going to find that out. So as far as it goes, selling the fight, hyping it up, it's going to be a great fight, to be honest with you. No BS. I don't have to sit here and tell you, look, you know, buy the fight, come see the fight. It's going to be fireworks. That's the bottom line. He's a decent puncher. I'm a puncher. We're going to go at it, and that's what it is. I'm not taking a backward step. I'm going to take it to him from the first round.
Well, we mentioned a big event here tonight in Atlantic City, and whenever there is an event of this magnitude, you never know who's going to show up. I know one guy that did show up, and he's the 3rd member of our broadcast team. He is Jeff DeForest. And Jeff, tonight you get a chance to hobnob with the greats and the near greats.
Well, Barry, we know in boxing, when the big hitters are in the ring, there are going to be plenty of heavyweights around the fight at ringside. We have a classic venue for boxing here in Atlantic City, a highly competitive, internationally flavored card. Should be a lot of action you get to describe inside the ropes. I'll be talking to some people outside the ropes as well. Should be a lot of fun this evening.
All right, we'll get a chance to hear what everybody involved in this thing has to say. We'll be talking about it ringside. Jeff will be roaming the building to give you all the insights. Let's get started, though, with our first fight, and it is in the junior welterweight division. And another hot young prospect by the name of Khabib Alakberdiev, another Russian looking to make a mark here in the United States, will get it on against the last-minute replacement by the name of Roberto Acevedo. And let's take a look at the rules here in the state of New Jersey. There will not be a standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Boxer can't be saved with a bell in any round. Only the referee can stop the fight. We'll be using the 10-point must system, of course, which is now mandatory across the country. 3 judges will score the fight. Mandatory 8 count after any knockdown. Right now, let's take you up to the center of the ring and Bob Alexander. Bob?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to the fabulous Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tonight, Seminole Warriors Boxing Promotions and Golden Boy Promotions, in association with Main Events, proudly presents an evening of World Championship Boxing for your entertainment. Tonight's bouts are brought to you by Caesars Atlantic City, Golden Grain Promotions, NAFTA Mosca, Global Marketing Strategies, CSI Sports, and the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Our first bout of the evening is scheduled for 4 rounds of boxing in the junior welterweight division. Your judges scoring this bout at ringside are Barbara Perez, Pierre Benoit, and Robert Grasso. Your referee in charge of the action is Lindsay Page. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red trunks with the white trim. He weighed in at 140 pounds. He is undefeated in his professional career. 3 wins, no losses, with 2 wins by way of knockout. He comes from Karush, Russia. Here is King Khabib Alakverdiyev. His opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the blue trunks with the red and white trim. He weighed in at 141 pounds. His professional record, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw, with 1 win by way of knockout. Originally from Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, now fighting out of West Berlin, New Jersey, here is Roberto Acevedo. 4 rounds of boxing in the junior welterweight division.
All right, gentlemen, I already explained what I want from you. I want a good, clean fight. Touch him up, go back to your corner until I tell you to come out.
And with that, Al, we're ready to start our first fight. Alakverdiyev has won both his fights, one by knockout, won a unanimous decision in his first fight in which he did not lose a round. Acevedo stepping in at the last minute, but it sounded like he had a little crowd support here.
Yes, he did, and he hopes that translates into some good things happening for him.
Alakverdiyev showed some pretty good power in his last fight, dropped his opponent with a body shot.
Rarely do you see 2 left-handers in the ring together, but we have that here this evening. And the early part of a fight where you've come in at the last minute, as Acevedo has, really is difficult. You have to really make sure you get yourself into the fight and get your sea legs under you.
Come on. So far, feeling out process going on here. Each man has scored with a jab. A right hand slipped in by Acevedo.
And he's getting that right and the left hand in. Very awkward action. But he's getting that left hand into Alakverdiyev.
One thing Acevedo does have a tendency to do is square up right in front of Alakverdiyev.
Never a good thing. And this is a very big ring. During the course of the evening, we'll be commenting on it.
Break!
Just one of those punches landed.
No pushing off, just break.
Acevedo, when he has used his jab, has been pretty effective with that punch early in this fight. It helped set up the straight left as it did there.
No punching behind the head.
You know, for as often as Acevedo has gotten himself trapped against the ropes, Barry, as you pointed out, he's not going to hit as much as you think. Oh, nice right hand, though.
Don't worry about it. I got this.
Acevedo doing a little refereeing here. No, you would think, wouldn't you, that Acevedo would want this fight in the center of the ring, and he's fought it with his back to the ropes virtually the entire way.
Alakverdiyev is the kind of a fighter who does much better coming forward. He's an aggressive type fighter who wants to press the action.
economic with his punches.
Break, break. Look, not wrestling match, box.
Lindsey Page saying it's not a wrestling match, box. Very good shot by Alec Verdiev, slipping in after a good body shot from Acevedo. Very close first round.
It really was, maybe to the surprise of some.
A little after the bell activity. Very difficult round for the judges to score, I would think.
Mucho aire, papi. No me le da agua todavía. Ponme aire, ponme aire. ¿Estamos bien? Mírame, pa.
Oscar Suarez, of course, one of the better-known trainers in the eastern part of the United States, especially.
Ese pancito de nosotros. Ese jab no me lo dejes. Estás precioso con él.
One time and I say break. That's what I want you to do. You understand?
Can you watch the Robbie head?
Referee Lindsey Page slipping into the corner to say one more time. When I say break, you break.
El jab lo quiero como lo estás usando, ¿ok, papi? Trata de no usar las dos manos a la misma vez, ¿ok? Vamos a dar una engañadita, vamos a dar una engañadita.
See if that round was some kind of a confidence builder for Acevedo.
Yeah, I agree. I think even though he was hit with some good shots from time to time against Phillips, he was able to land enough to let him know he can hang in there in this fight with Alec Verdiev. Whoever gets off first with their jab in this fight is the one that tends to control things. It's not. It's frequently the case, of course, in matches, but here it's especially true.
Alec Verdiev is just kind of waiting on Acevedo.
Box clean, gentlemen.
Alec Verdiev comes in here off a 4-round decision over Damian Tinker. Before that, he'd had 2 first-round knockouts. So while he had those early knockouts at the beginning, he has gone 4 rounds now. So we'll see how he fares as this fight continues.
Break. Let him go.
And not a lot of action here. Both guys just kind of waiting and maybe looking to counter. And there's Acevedo coming in behind that jab again. I missed with the left hand, but
there's some redness around the right eye of Alec Verdiev. To see if that develops into a cut or what happens. Another good straight left by Acevedo. So he's able to get that shot in.
Well, you said it earlier, the jab is the key for him. Took a right hand and a left hand from Alec Verdiev.
Put that head up, lift it up.
You know, Alec Verdiev has some defensive issues that he needs to work on, and this fight is kind of pointing some of them out. Obviously, he's a young man that, that many of folks visiting here from Russia, with Bragimov coming up, think he's a good prospect, but he's going to have to deal with those defensive issues if he's going to move ahead in the world of boxing.
Lift the head up. Last time.
Lindsey Page very, very active in warning Acevedo. I have to confess that it doesn't seem as dramatic to me, but
no, nor to me. I think he's trying to avoid a headbutt, but I think he's quite honestly maybe a little bit too much involved in the action right now.
This is an interesting round because Acevedo had some very good work early, even though Alec Verdiev has moved forward more in this round. Really, Acevedo's landed a lot of punches.
No, I agree with you. I think he's winning the round.
Yeah.
And I think you can make a case for his winning the first round, too.
It's possible, yeah.
A little bump on the head of Acevedo, a little reddening. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to cause a problem. This fight scheduled for 4 rounds.
Break! Break! Time!
I thought not a bad round for Acevedo.
Not at all. And he was able to get in some very, very good straight left hands.
Все нормально, боксируй.
Yeah, no. Tell the ref he gotta watch his head. Habib.
What head?
Yeah. Habib, you gotta keep your hands up. Pay attention what I'm telling you. Habib, you gotta keep your hands up. You beat this guy all day long. Habib, you beat this guy all day long, hit him around the body. Breathe. Habib, you go to the body and you go up top. Stop looking for the knockout.
Well, Acevedo used the straight left hand as an important weapon in this fight. There he slips Alec Verdev and then goes downstairs.
He's had a little bit of success going downstairs. A real talking to in Alec Verdev's corner. I guess the burning question is, does he speak English?
Good point. Well, the advice was good. The idea of keeping his hands up, but also going to the body. When Alec Verdev threw those right hooks downstairs, they were very, very effective.
Once again, Acevedo starts out with his back to the ropes.
And you hit on an important point in Acevedo's style, the squaring up, which makes him a better target to hit. And Habib has tried to do that.
Acevedo does seem to be, quite honestly, a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I agree. Hand speed in terms of movement, and there is a quickness edge, and that's what's been giving Alec Verdev some problems.
I think both these fighters a work in progress, but Acevedo's showing something.
Absolutely. They're mirror images of each other. They're both lefties. They both have some of the same weapons, to be sure.
Good body shot by Acevedo.
The best he's thrown in the fight.
Break. Good hold.
Again, the body work by Acevedo, and so does Alec Verdev come back with it. So both men diversifying their attack.
Break.
Again, a round in which Alec Verdev has come forward most of the round, but has he been the more effective of the two fighters?
I don't believe he has.
1 point.
Oh.
1 point. Hold. 1 point. Hold. Last time I'm gonna tell you.
Quite honestly, I just don't agree with that.
There's been some holding by Acevedo, but boy, I just don't know if it's enough to warrant that. But Lindsey Page thought so, that's for sure.
And that literally could cost him the fight.
In a four-rounder, yep, you're absolutely right. I think in those fights you have to be careful of what you do. And of course that makes this round very problematic for Acevedo.
That time a right hand slipped in by Alec Verdev. Well, I think that's a very critical point.
Joven, no me escuchaste. Mírame, papi, mírame. Cógeme aire, cógeme aire, cógeme aire, cógeme aire. Cógeme aire. Cógeme aire. Mucho aire. Cógeme aire. Yo te limpio la nariz. Mucho aire, mucho. Todo lo que pueda, vamos. Estamos bien para este ratito, ¿verdad? Joven, escúchate. El jefe te va a quitar la pelea.
This guy shouldn't hit you with nothing. Come on, he shouldn't hit you with nothing. Look at Tom. He shouldn't hit you with nothing. You need to win this. Habib, tell him what you need.
I'm sure he's thinking somebody's hitting me with something.
Smart, no, smart.
Yes.
Come here. Last round, gentlemen.
Last round. How do you have this one scored?
Yeah, it's a very close fight. It could be dead even because of the point deduction and very difficult. I mean, this one is really tight.
I have it as an even fight.
Yeah. And Acevedo saying, hey, how about getting hit behind the head?
Yeah, now he's been saying that all along.
Lobbying to Lindsey Page not getting any response.
Let him go. Let him go. Pop.
I think he turned to say something to Lindsey Page again, and he took a pretty good shot. Right hand slipped in and a low blow slipped in. And Alec Verdi with the right hand. Fight's getting pretty sloppy now.
Now Acevedo's in a difficult spot. He keeps complaining about the head thing, trying to kind of get the score even, but the more he does that, the less Lindsey Page is likely to go along with it. And it's only taking his focus off of fighting at this moment.
Both these guys complaining to Lindsey Page now.
Something.
Yeah, Alec Verdi is complaining about low blows.
Well, you know, it's turned into a debate.
Right. So. Let him go. Let him go. Right.
And you're right, this is by far the sloppiest of the rounds that we've had.
Right. Let him go. Let him go.
Alec Verdi is getting busted up a little bit here. Took a good left hand from Acevedo. And there's a headbutt.
Oh, wow.
And that was not accidental. That was an intentional headbutt.
1 point. 1 point.
Out of nowhere.
That was just plain stupid.
That was an absurd move in the 4th round of a fight you could very well have won with a point having been deducted from your opponent in the previous round. Wow, this is interesting.
Break. When I say break, you break.
Oh, what a turn of events that is. That just was...
And I have to say, Acevedo is asking for trouble again. He is holding a lot now, more than he did before.
He is, absolutely.
So he's asking for more trouble. And shoot, we got 30 seconds left for more points to be deducted.
Well, this has not been a thing of beauty so far. There's a hold.
And ironically, it started out as an interesting tactical and kind of a fun fight, and it's kind of degenerated a little bit.
They just stopped the fight.
Wow.
They disqualified Acevedo.
Interesting. Wow, that's intriguing.
Well, I'm very interested in seeing the judges' cards on this.
Yeah, I guess it was stopped for holding. That's intriguing. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, we took a point away once, and then the next time, I know what the rules are, but... Well, you know, you and I have seen a lot of odd goings-on in boxing. I guess this is just another one.
And, you know, in truth, there was a lot of holding from Acevedo toward the end here. There's an example of some of the holding. And the interesting thing is, at that moment, at that juncture, I guess when you look at that replay, he did break when Lindsey Page asked him to. You have to wonder, but there was a lot of the holding in the last round, so interesting.
Really interesting. Yeah, we'll see if somebody can get us cards. I'd be very curious to how this stood. Well,
disappointing for Acevedo, certainly.
Yeah, no question. Let's make it official. Here's Bob Alexander.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey, referee Lindsey Page stops this bout at 2 minutes, 48 seconds of the 4th round. Your winner by disqualification, King Habib Alakverdian.
Well, with 12 seconds left to go in the fight.
Yeah, that's...
And it was going on. I'm not suggesting that Lindsey Page was wrong in acknowledging that it was going on. I thought he was a little quick to pull the trigger the first time, quite honestly. And you just hate to see it fight out.
Especially
like
with such a small amount of time left after there'd been a blatant foul previous to it. It's just interesting. Well, you know, in any case, Alec Verdian gets a win. But clearly for him, there are things to work on as well. And for Acevedo, maybe conditioning a part of the reason why he held so much as well coming into this fight at the last minute.
He's got to learn to control himself, too. That was an intentional headbutt. I think that in itself, quite honestly, is cause for disqualification.
It was certainly more blatant than some of the other fouling.
But in any case, it will go as a W, albeit a W with an asterisk, I think. for Alec Verdiev. And what was learned from this fight, I'm not quite sure.
Well, part of it is what you said, the idea that maybe he needs to learn to control the actions vis-a-vis the headbutt, and also the defensive issues were pointed out a little bit by a fighter that, as you said, had more hand speed than Alec Verdiev did. So that they have to be aware of.